I'm going to be doing a thermostat on my 2007 H3. Seems like there's a common way of doing this is to go through the inner fender, take this all out, take the tire off, and go up in there. I'm going to try it different. My idea is to go in, take out the alternator, and then work at the thermostat in behind there. So it's 9:45. I'm just getting started. I'm going to keep time of this and let you guys know how I do. So to start the job off, I'm going to have to take off the skid plate and remove the hose to drain the coolant. Once I'm done that, I'll have to get the belts off this bracket and take out the bolts for the alternator, the wiring on the back. Might have to take the battery out, might give me a little bit more room, but I'll see how it goes. Okay, just getting the last couple bolts out of the skid pan here. Put that down there out of the way. And now I can see the bottom of the radiator. Here's the hose we're going to be taking off here. Alright, I'm about 10 minutes into the job. It's 5 to 10. I got my coolant drained out. Just pulled the hose back a tiny bit. While that's happening, I'll start taking things apart up in here. Alright, got the bolts out of this bracket. It's got two in the front, and it's also got a third one tucked in right above the alternator. And anyway, they're all out. I'm just going to work it around this harness and take this out. Alright, so I'm about half an hour in, just getting the last of the bolts out of the alternator. I left the bottom one in, and that'll allow me to just pivot it back a bit and get the wires off the back side of it. I also pulled out this cam sensor here. It goes into the front here. Here it is. And what that did was allow me to pull this harness up out of the way a little bit more to access the bolts. I used a deep socket, 15 mil, because the bottom one is right down under there. Hard to see with the light I got, but it did well. So I'm just ready to take the wires off the alternator now. And once that's out of the way, I should have good access to the thermostat. So anytime I start messing around wires and alternators, I don't want to get a shock, so I'm going to take off this ground terminal to the battery. So I can finally see the thermostat way down there, in behind the alternator. As far as getting the alternator out, these things are a bit of a bear. There's not a lot of room between these wires and the fuel line and the air conditioning hose here. So I've tried to pull it out of the way a little bit, and I think what I'm going to do is just try to work around the alternator, leave it in there if I can, and get that thing off. So I'm exactly an hour into the job. I've got the thermostat unbolted from the block. Alternator is in the way. It doesn't want to really come out of there. It's all undone, and I just worked around it. So when I'm putting the new one in, I'm going to make sure that this stud on top is in the right place. That is the indication that's the top of the thermostat. Alright, 10 after 11. Got the thermostat sitting back in there. You know, wiggle the hose back onto it, do up the clamp, and start putting everything else back together. Alright, got the alternator sitting back in, bolts are loose. What I did was I put the top two in and started the bottom one, and then I took the top two out so that I could tilt the thing back towards me a little bit and get better access to the wires in the back. So I'm all back together, alternator's in, brackets on, cam sensors back in. I'm going to do a little bit of flushing before I refill it with fresh coolant. The old stuff was pretty gross, but all in all, yeah, working around that alternator wasn't easy. If you were taking a damn thing out for any other reason, it'd be a good idea to change that thermostat at the time. I've never done it through the fender well, but this was my idea. I did it. That's how I did it. If you want to try it this way, follow along. Good luck. Have fun. And see you later.